Hello, my name is Dr. Christine Fruhauf, and on behalf of our entire team from Colorado State University and the University of Hawaii at Manoa, I would like to welcome you to our webinar titled Working with Grandfamilies, Taking Action. Before we begin today, we would like to acknowledge and thank our funder, the United States Department of Agriculture, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, Children, Youth, and Families at Risk, Sustainable Community Projects for their support of our work. Further, we would like to acknowledge our colleague, Ruth Wilson, for her technical assistance with recording and posting this webinar. As we previously stated, this webinar is funded by USDA, NIFA, and meets one of our 3 project objectives. The objectives of this project are to first focus on grandparent self-care. We're doing this by offering the powerful tools for caregivers, Grandfamilies 6-week class to promote self-care practices and stress reduction techniques while connecting grandparents to community resources. If you're not familiar with the Powerful Tools for Caregivers, please go to powerfultoolsforcaregivers.org. Second, to address the needs of grandchildren, we've created and are now implementing a 6-week course to build self-care and leadership skills among 9 to 12-year-old grandchildren living in grandfamily homes. Finally, it is well known in the literature that service providers working with grandfamilies want more education and information about the complexities grandfamilies experience on a daily basis. Further, grandparents often state they are leery of working closely with case managers, social workers, and sometimes school liaisons for fear of losing their grandchildren. As a result, our 3rd objective of this federally funded project is to create webinars for service providers with the hope of increasing the ability of providers' strengths-based approaches to effectively support resilience in grandfamilies. The purpose of this webinar is to briefly introduce you to self-management education and share with you in detail one self-management skill useful when working with grandfamilies. To begin, what is self-management? Well, self-management is an active process by which a person or patient is responsible for his or her day-to-day care over the course of an illness. According to researchers Lorig and Holman, self-management is a popular term for behavioral programs and interventions for people with chronic diseases as they manage such diseases and build skills related to healthy behaviors. Further, Lorig and Holman state that there are 5 core self-management skills that self-management education addresses. These include problem solving, decision making, how to find and utilize resources, forming partnerships with healthcare providers, and taking action or action planning. Now, as I stated earlier, our 6-week program focusing on grandparents is not necessarily for grandparents who experience chronic disease. It's for grandparents who are raising grandchildren regardless of any type of chronic illness that they may be facing. As we know that oftentimes grandparents experience extra stress and burden in their caregiving role. So for this webinar, I'm only going to focus on taking action, which, as you know from my previous slide, is one of the 5 skills that individuals will learn in self-management education. Well, taking action is a little bit like making a New Year's resolution, and for some people it might seem more like a decision than an actual skill. But it's important to note that there are skills involved when learning how to change a behavior. The most important of this is making a short-term plan, usually a period of maybe 1 to 2 weeks, and carrying out that plan. In addition, the action plan needs to be very specific, such as this week I will prepare a healthy meal for my lunch on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Next, an action plan needs to be realistic or doable. That is, you or the grandparent you are working with can complete the behavior within this shorter time frame. Finally, an action plan needs to be something that you or the grandparent you are working with is confident that she or he can actually accomplish. So when working with a grandparent, confidence can be measured by asking him or her how confident he or she is that he or she will prepare a healthy lunch on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Using a scale of 0 to 10, with 10 being totally confident and 0 being totally unconfident that they will actually complete their action plan. If the answer is 7 or higher, there's a good chance the action plan will be achieved. If the number is lower than a 7, please work with the grandparent to modify his or her action plan to increase his or her confidence level. During this phase, when working with grandparents to increase his or her confidence level, you are essentially encouraging problem-solving skills as grandparents discuss possible outcomes and solutions to them. For example, if a grandparent says that their action plan is to prepare a healthy meal for lunch on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but only says that they are at a confidence level of a 4, you might ask him or her, well, what can you do to ensure that you will complete that or get that confidence level up to 7 or more? Maybe it's that Mondays and Fridays, right? So they're adjusting the actual number of times a week that they're actually going to complete that healthy lunch. Or maybe they'll just make sure that they include a vegetable or fruit in their lunch. Perhaps it's not the entirety of a healthy lunch, but some extra health-related nutrition benefit in that action plan for that week. So as you can see on this slide, this form, my action plan, is the form that we actually use with grandparents during the Powerful Tools for Caregivers Grandfamilies program. And it's certainly something that you might be able to use as you work with grandparents. What we have witnessed and heard, not only during our class sessions, but in our formal evaluation, including focus group data from participants in our Powerful Tools for Caregivers Grandfamilies program, is that not only participants enjoy the program, learn new skills to manage their grandchildren caregiving related duties, they state that action planning has helped them improve their overall health and wellness. We actually had one grandparent say in her long-term action plan after the intervention ended and 6 months following that she quit smoking as a result of this program. Furthermore, self-management education is, in general, also has shown to increase the number of minutes per week of exercise among participants. It's increased the practice of cognitive symptom management, such as relaxing or perhaps meditation. It's improved communication with participants' physicians or healthcare providers. We've also seen a reduction in pain, a reduction in even disability, less fatigue among participants, less health distress or worry, and improved role functioning. And again, that is from the literature on self-management education, not specific just to this program. In general, self-management education, including action planning, as I've talked about today, is a useful approach to taking better care of ourselves. And we hope it is something that you and the grandparents that you work with will utilize. This concludes our webinar, and on behalf of all of my colleagues on the GRANDcares Project, we hope that you join us for upcoming webinars discussing topics such as microaggressions in grandfamilies, trauma in grandchildren, and working with the middle generation, or the grandparents' parents. Grandchildren's parents. If you have any ideas on topics you would like to see discussed in the future, if you have any questions about the material discussed in this webinar, or if you are interested in learning more about the GRANDcares Project and possibly bringing it to your community, please contact me at christine.fruhauf@colostate.edu. Also, if you would like more information about the Powerful Tools for Caregivers program, please contact the PTC headquarters at powerfultoolsforcaregivers.org. Finally, in an effort to assist us in future planning, please complete the following short survey and tell us what you think. It should only take you about 3 to 5 minutes to complete this survey. Thank you very much from the GRANDcares Project team.